Here's another video on canfigurit.com just to give you some extra help. I might pick one of these ones that has CPCTC. So I'll probably do this one here, CPCTC side angle side 3. So notice they tell us to use side angle side. So that's our goal. I want to prove the triangles are congruent by side angle side. And they give us two pieces of information. They're given. So I'm going to make a new claim using the first one. C is the midpoint of AB. So here's AB. If C is the midpoint, then I know I have two congruent sides. So I'll go to side, congruent segments, and I'm going to say which sides. I want AC congruent to BC. Click claim. Now confirm. Why do I know that? The definition of midpoint. So now I got to look for midpoint. Why is that the case? Well, C is the midpoint of AB. I'll click OK, or click on there and hit submit. And there's one pair of congruent sides. Now I have to do the same thing for the other side. I'll click new claim, ED, congruent sides again. And this time and you should always go with, see how AD, that's this top triangle. So I should do this piece first. So CD. And then the bottom triangle is always the second one, and that's going to be CE. And they're congruent for the same reason. C is the midpoint of ED. So I'll go look for the midpoint one. Midpoint divides the line into congruent parts. And then what is the midpoint? You got to make sure you click on the correct given, and hit submit. So now I have two pairs of congruent sides. And they tell me to use side angle side. So I need the included angle, which notice it looks like a bow tie. So I'm going to go to angles. And then I've got congruent angles. And we can go right in the middle. You want to take the small one from the top triangle. And that's going to be congruent to the small angle on the bottom triangle. Click claim, confirm. And then why do we know that? We're looking for vertical angles. Notice this kind of looks like a bow tie. Vertical angles are congruent. They already have it filled in, so I'll click OK. And now I have enough to prove the triangles are congruent. Now, they don't tell me to prove the triangles are congruent, but we know that if we're going to use CPCTC, we have to prove the triangles are congruent first, every single time. So now I'm looking for congruent triangles. And I'm just going to click the top triangle to the bottom triangle. You should always put, so if they say AD, the top part, AD belongs to the top part, so that triangle should come first. And everything you state, the first part should always begin from that top triangle. Okay, so why are these congruent? Well, they tell us side angle side, but so is our picture. So I'm going to click confirm, and I'm looking for side angle side. That's the first option. And then we have to say, well, what are the sides and angle? You already proved those. If you don't have enough information here to prove it, that means you aren't ready to justify this. So I'm going to click here, and that's going to snap in the first pair of sides. Then I'm going to click the angles, and then the last side. And you can switch these two sides in terms of the order. It doesn't matter which pair comes first, but the angle has to go for the angle. Hit submit. And now notice the triangles are congruent, but I'm not done because they want me to finish with the pieces. AD is congruent to EB. Well, now that the triangles are congruent, I know that CPCTC, corresponding sides of congruent triangles, are congruent. And then what triangles are congruent? We just proved it. Click there, submit, and you're done. Okay, so you can go to try another activity. After a while, I don't know why this one didn't do it, but this should turn blue. I just did it. So I'm going to hit refresh and just see if it does. Yep, now it's blue. Notice it's completed. So my goal is to get all of these blue. And for Wednesday, which is tomorrow, or if you're watching it, it's today, you will have 5 more proofs that you have to finish. So the goal then is to get all of these to be blue. Do as much as you can. If you get stuck on one, that's okay. And then you're going to take a screenshot of it. So you're going to go ahead and just grab a screenshot. Actually, I would prefer it to have your name in it. So you're going to take a screenshot with your name in it. And then you can click right here, and I'll be able to tell all of the ones that you had done very easily. I still have access to all your records, so I can go back and check, but it's just easier if you guys take that screenshot. All right, let's try one more. I'm trying to think of one that might be a little more interesting that maybe I didn't do yet. Maybe, I think it was this one, angle, angle, side. Well, notice they give us all the information. So actually this one is just, everything is given for you. You can jump right to your claim. Why do you know that these are congruent? Angle, angle, side. And I'm looking for the one that says angle, angle, side. And then we just have to click in the angles. So you can literally go right down in order, click submit, and we're done. And then that one, it might take a while. If you want to hit refresh, it should turn blue as well. So that's the goal. Remember, you got things like in this first one here, you can see the reflexive property. Here's the reflexive property. Here, these two are bow ties. They got vertical angles. This one's a bow tie one that you could use vertical angles, but notice it's saying side, side, side. Maybe I'll do that one quick. Okay, so what do we know? My goal is to prove the angles are congruent, but I have bisectors. Actually, I think I already did this one. Well, maybe I didn't. I'll do it quick. So what do we know? AC is the bisector of ED. So if this line cuts this line into two equal pieces, the first statement, I can make a claim saying that I've got congruent sides. And you have to read this very carefully. AC is what is cutting DE in half. So DE is the one that's cutting in half for this first statement. So I'm going to go from this triangle on the left, so BE is congruent to DB. And how do I know that? I have to click confirm. The definition of bisector, it's not midpoint, it's bisector. A segment bisector divides another segment into two congruent parts. And then what is the bisector? I can just click on the first given, hit submit, and there we go. Notice it added that pair of congruent pieces. So now I have two pairs of congruent sides. I just need this third one to do the side, side, side. So then the last piece, I'm going to use the second given, and I'm going to say, because DE is a bisector of AC, I still have congruent segments. And this time, AB is congruent to BC. My reason is definition of bisector again. Segment bisects another one into two congruent parts. And then you have to pick the correct given. DE bisects AC. Click submit. Now notice, look at my triangle. Side, side, side. I can prove the triangles are congruent. So we'll prove triangles are congruent. And then I have to say which triangles. So it was always the left to the right, or usually top to bottom. And we'll click claim. Well, how do I know? Side, side, side. And then put the sides in. Well, one was given, and we found the other two from the definition of bisector. Click submit, and that was provided. And then our last claim, remember, you don't have to type in the last claim. They always start it for you. So you're going to go up here. And why are these two angles congruent? Well, we just proved that triangles are congruent. So I'm looking for congruent triangles, or CPCTC. Here it is. And then what are the triangles that are congruent? We already stated that, so you can just click on it, submit, and there's another one done. So if I click refresh, you can see I did 3 in about 9 minutes. Okay, so take a screenshot. I'll be available. We're going to go through a couple of these on Thursday in class if you have questions. Good luck.